Good morning. Day 2 of Jules's bikepacking adventure. I spent a good night in the Premier Inn room. I set up my two-man tent in the room and set up a one-man tent inside the two-man tent. And then inside the one-man tent I set up a hammock with a tarpaulin on the recommendation of my good friend Badger's Bikepacking. And within the hammock I had a bivvy bag, and within the bivvy bag I had a sleeping bag on a sleeping mat. And I was wearing my my special Bikepacker's Patagonia down puffer jacket. And did I sweat like a bastard and not sleep like a wink? Not sleep like a wink. Did I not sleep a wink? No, I did not sleep a bloody wink. So all you people who recommend bikepacking, well, all I can say is it's a load of old tosh. So where are we this morning? Well, we've left, it's not we, it's me. We've left Herne Bay. No, we haven't left Herne Bay. We've left my bivvy for the night at the Premier Inn. I've head down to the front, patted my good friend Amy Johnson, first cyclist to ride around the world, and I'm heading out on a coastal route following the coastal path. So the plan is Margate, Broadstairs, Ramsgate, Sandwich, Deal, Plymouth, Cardiff. What else is on the coastal path? I give up. Edinburgh? No, I'm not going that far. Just a day's ride, and I'm going to bring you along with me. Did you expect anything less? So I hope we have a good time. New top today. Yes, this is an Endurer gravel top. Once again, Julian is rocking the gravel look, and I'm afraid to say I've got the same Lapashoni gravel shorts, but different, and you're not going to see this, but different undershorts. You really wanted to know that, didn't you? Did I sleep in my undershorts? That's for another video, Nigel. You're going to have to wait. Riding along the breakwater through Herne Bay with a tripod in my mouth, the things I do for art. You probably can't see, in fact, because it's GoPro, you won't be able to see it at all. But right there, possibly where my finger is pointing, is Reculver Roman fort. Well, it's called a Roman fort. It's not Roman. It was in fact built back in the 1950s when an invasion was expected. They were a little unsure about things back in the 50s. As somebody who was born in the 50s, it was a period of confusion, and invasions were expected from just about everyone. So they built a series of forts. Actually, they only built one, and that was that one, Reculver. And then someone came along and said, "Look, guys, war's over, mate. Forgive and forget." And so they did. So that was the only... But it's a ruin now, obviously. Things don't last, do they? Nothing ever lasts. I'm going to get all poetic on your ass. Right, a little bit of seaside path riding. I won't do too much of this because beautiful as it is, after you've seen a few minutes of somebody riding a bike along a seaside path, it looks pretty much the same. But you want to see me, don't you? You don't want to see the seaside path. Well, you can see the back of the seaside path, or rather the rear. No, this is what I mean. You can see behind me what is behind me. Look behind you. No, there's nothing different. Right, there's the... You want to see the shorts? Lapashoni shorts. Not bad. They're like C10, looking good. A little bit dusty, but then it's now looking like a proper gravel bike, isn't it? Dusty and dirty, and scratched, and weathered and worn. It's getting a bit bumpy here. I'll put the camera down. A bit more mouth cam for you as I descend this. Well, it's not gravel, but I suppose you call it gravel because it's not road. This thing about this part of the Kent coast, by the way, is you are
required by law to own a dog. You cannot buy a house in this part of Kent unless you agree to also have a dog. So, morning. So we're descending this patch of ground, and you can see in front of me, well, quite a long way in front of me. Actually, you can't see it at all now because it's disappeared behind a hill. The Reculver Roman fort. And what I said earlier about it being built in the 50s for the benefit of my viewers in other countries, that was, I'm sorry to say, complete nonsense. It was actually built by the Romans, as I originally said, and the two Romans who built it were Roman Polanski, the disgraced film director, and his son Roman Abramovich, who owns Chelsea Football Club. And they were chatting one day over a Costa coffee, and the Roman 1 said to Roman 2, "What do you reckon?" The Roman 2 said, "Why don't we build one of those Roman forts? They can call it after us." And Roman 1 said, "Good idea. Why don't you play Terry up front?" Their friendship ended then, for obvious reasons. Bumpity bumpity bump, getting close to their masterpiece, the Reculver Roman fort.
And here we are, up close and personal at Reculver Fort, built by the two Romans. This one here, this was built by Roman Abramovich. This is known as John Terry's Tower. This one here, this one was built by Roman Polanski and is known as Rosemary's Baby for obvious reasons. Now, to give you some idea of scale, right there is my Fairlight sea can. So that gives you a pretty good idea of how big this fort is, or if you prefer, how small the sea can is. Shall I pan down like that? Funny how the perspective changes when you pan down. Now this sign says it's an Anglo-Saxon church, but of course that is complete nonsense. They just put that up there to confuse either the tourists or people who aren't Chelsea supporters, which is of course most of us. Impressive, isn't it? And look at that sky. You want to see that sky will point skywards, gradually away from the two Roman towers. And look at that sky. That's what you call a blue sky. That's what I call a blue sky. I don't know what you call it. There's Rosemary's Baby. Funny, isn't it? I've got to do something about that squeak on my Fairlight. It's driving me up the fucking wall. I better get a bit of lube, I think. Stop that squeaking. Bottom bracket? Could be. Pedals? Stopped. Stopped. Not bottom bracket then. Oh no, it's started again. Disc brakes, that's what it is. Disc brakes. Bloody disc brakes. Save the rim brake, that's what I say. Get rid of the rim brake, that's what I say. Gears? Could it be the gears? Don't know.
I'm now cycling along the promenade from Minnis Bay heading towards Margate, and as you can see it is almost completely deserted. That's one of the things that, okay, this is hardly original, but if you go out pretty early, and in fact now it's about, I don't know, about 9 o'clock, 9:15, so it's not that early, but if you go out pretty early in these kind of places, because they're primarily populated by old people who tend not to get up, of course, until the afternoon, like students. If you go out early in the morning, you're likely to have a place to yourself, except, of course, for the dogs. And that, my friends, is what you call coastline. So, beach there is gradually collecting stones and shells and sand, building his own personal beach in his back garden. And over the years, he'll come back with a bucket, and each day he'll take a little bit of seawater, not enough that you'd notice, a little bit of seawater, and he's creating his own ocean and his own beach in his backyard. Dedication is very close to madness. But you see what I mean? Hardly anybody here. It's like it would be once they dropped the bomb, with nothing left but a promenade. Actually, the promenade wouldn't be here. Nothing left except dogs. Well, the dogs wouldn't be here either. Nothing left except the beach. Well, actually, the beach wouldn't be here either. But you know what I mean? You know, stop splitting hairs. That's what the royal family do, isn't it? They split hairs. Which hair do you want? Oh, no, that one. No, I want that one. Oh, you know, you're that one. Okay, I'll know that one. Splitting hairs. I don't know. I'm steadily going off my head. And the seawater just above the screen, just about there, and you get that new YouTube smell-o-vision, and you can smell the sea. This is for my friend Henry Wildbury and Miss Calls, who like to see a cup of finest English coffee. Greetings from the Kent coast. Westbrook Bay Cafe, takeaway, beach goods and beach hire. I wonder if I can hire a beach. Is that any beach? Does it have to be a beach here? What about a beach in Malibu? I mean it's not open, but I mean, if it was open, you said, like, can I hire the beach in Malibu? And I said, yeah, it's 10 quid a day, 50 quid for the season, and you get a foot, of beach, a square foot of beach, and anyone who goes there, you can say, oi, you're on my beach, get off my beach. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Endless fun. Lifeguards. It's like Baywatch, isn't it? Every minute you expect to see Pamela Anderson and, was it David Hasselhoff?
Or was it David Soul? I always get confused. Or was it Pamela Stephenson? Could have been. Or was it Clive Anderson? Imagine Clive Anderson, or even Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, running along the beach with his flute in his flip-flops and his Speedos. That would be fun, wouldn't it? I'd watch that programme. Probably prefer if Pamela Anderson was in it though. As well. Not, not on her own. What happened to Pamela Anderson? Did she end up like Bridget Bardot and got sort of obsessed with animals? Is Bridget Bardot still alive? I don't know. Mysteries of the universe. Well, I've arrived in Margate, and this here is, I think, a statue of Queen Victoria made out of bronze shells. Is it Queen Victoria or is it Helena Bonham Carter? It's sometimes hard to tell. This is on the kind of pier thing. There you can see the beautiful Margate over the sands, and somewhere around here, just let's focus in. This is the Turner Art Gallery, named after Turner, I suppose. I'm not sure who he was. Something to do with art, possibly. Difficult to tell. If you know the answer, leave a comment down below. This is the Lighthouse Bar and Cafe, and here, I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to pan upwards, is the lighthouse. Look at that. I just saw a fellow on a BMX bike take his BMX bike up those steps, and you think, what is he going to do? Is he going to jump off the lighthouse on his BMX bike? Break his fucking neck? Well, we can live in hope. Don't see the Fairlight. Oh, pictures of Fairlight today. The Fairlight Seacan. Seacan, as David Arthur calls it. There's a lady there. Don't know who she is. She doesn't know who I am. We are ships in the night. Well, I'm not a ship. She's not a ship either. We passed each other and then both sank. Yeah, we were that kind of ship. Warning! Beware of shallow water. Do not jump. And the funny thing is, right, if you have a look here, I mean, there is no water. If ever a person would jump in there. I mean, it doesn't say beware of shallow water, it ought to say beware of no water at all. Because if you jump, you'll end up paralysed. There's a mole there. Not quite sure what it is though. Not sure if you can read that. But this is about an Anthony Gormley sculpture called Another Time, which is out at sea. Let's see if we can see it. And yes, we can. It is, if you can't see it. Right. Where's my bloody finger? It's just behind my finger. Just there. The Anthony Gormley sculpture. Another Time. I quite like that. Of course, I was the model for it. Was I the model for it? No, I wasn't the model for it. It was. It's actually a robot sculpture, and it walked out there by itself. It was programmed to do so, to walk out there, to stop, and then to stay forever as a sculpture. Somebody walking along the beach. It's like a live Anthony Gormley, isn't it? That could be another place, another time, another place. As she disappears out of the picture. No, she's not. She's moving in a kind of circle. Perhaps she's taking a picture of the sculpture, as am I. Now she carries on. She's gone. She's gone as we are all gone. Gone like the wind. Gone like the snow. Où sont les neiges d'antan? Turn away. Turn away. What's the phrase? It's in the Bible, isn't it? Turn away, Dick Whittington. No, that's something else, isn't it? Turn away, turn away. Is that? I suppose that's why the gallery is called the Turner Gallery, because it's in Turn Away. Enormous lettering on that sign. I think it must be because this area is very popular with people who are partially sighted, and therefore all the street signs are at least 3 feet high. This is the only place in the country where you can see that. Very unusual.
Apparently it was on the news, I didn't see it. I've been doing some artwork down the seafront on the wall.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, in charcoal.
Right. What, do you have a pseudonym then?
I've not pseudonym, I had a tag.
What's your tag?
Danny Boy.
Danny Boy.
Yeah.
So if I see anything that's got Danny Boy on it,
yeah,
you did it.
Yeah, I've got a new style as well.
Yeah.
So somebody had to create manga, and I think it's about time that we have a new style. So I call it Baby Fat.
Baby what?
Baby Fat. Yeah.
Baby Fat.
Fat.
Shall I take a bit of video of you? Do you mind?
FATZ, like that. It's a street thing.
Right. So what are you drawing a picture of now then? Or do I have to wait a bit?
So imagine it's like somebody with their cat pulled to the side and they're winking.
Oh, yeah. No, I like that. No, you should go far.
Taking a lot of practice. And then it just happened, like a Eureka moment, I think.
Yeah.
And it happened a couple of days ago, I think. So we just started playing around with it.
So do you always have like that? What is that? Is that a cross or something?
Well, it's the cross, but it's just a wink, really.
Oh, it's a wink.
Yeah, like an eye.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to stand up. Back here is ideal, really.
Let me just.
There. Yeah, move back a bit.
Oh yeah. That is clever. That is. What's that? Is that like a mouth?
Yeah.
No, congratulations. That's a skill. That is.
Thank you. So manga is like that Chinese.
Yeah, Japanese, isn't it?
Yeah.
So have you put your name on it then?
So yeah, sorry, my tag.
Tag. You've got to put your tag on it, otherwise people aren't going to know, are they? Danny Boy. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Need some more chalk.
Yeah, charcoal.
Charcoal. Sorry.
Charcoal pound.
Yeah.
Expensive than gold.
We do.
High grade charcoal.
Because chalk is white, isn't it? But charcoal is black.
What?
I said chalk is white, but charcoal is black, isn't it?
Yeah. So, normally I blend this in, so
Yeah.
it's a bit more. I have more time, and I do like the 3D work.
That is, yeah, no, that's cool, that is. I can't see it now, you're in the way.
Can I really put an earring on that way?
No, less is more sometimes.
Yeah. I think that. Kind of bit. So you can adapt that.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried yet. That's my first symbol.
Well, that's the first one you've done.
Yeah. This geezer called Flame, yeah.
Sorry?
The geezer an artist called Flame.
Yeah.
He does things like that, yeah. You can wind him up.
Let me just focus in on the tag a bit.
But it says to be that's rated, like every time, because I hit it every time.
Rated. That means good, like sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool, that is. Jet ski world closed. Cafe closed. I mean, we're in kind of post-lockdown, not completely out of lockdown. And you see all these stories in the press about, everything being, you know, impossible to get a holiday in Britain and £5,000 to hire a jet ski in Cornwall or something. And yet, here we are in Kent on the beautiful, absolutely beautiful coast, and it is deserted, and Jet Ski World and this beach cafe is closed. Where are all the punters? Where are all the customers? Where are all the people spending money? Where indeed? Life is a mystery. Just met a fascinating character called Danny. His tag is Danny Boy. And I've included a short section of him doing a bit of graffiti or something. Should I encourage? Well, I didn't encourage him. He was going to do it anyway. But, I mean, why not? I mean, why not? I think it livens up the place. I mean, it's better than, you know, COVID-19 is a scam. I mean, you know, you see that kind of thing written in chalk on a wall. I mean, that is not to be encouraged. But people who have a genuine artistic talent, who want to sort of produce something out in the open air for, well, I think, the entertainment of people passing by. I mean, why not? Good luck to them. That's what I say. Anyway, I'm going to put up a separate video of Danny Boy and his work, and you'll be able to find it because I'll call it Danny Boy. And I told him about it. I'm not sure he believed me when I said I had 5,000 subscribers, but I do. And I hope he watches it, and I hope people look him up and give him a bit of work, because he seemed like a nice guy. Funny enough, when I left, he said, would you like a humbug for your journey? Which I thought was at the same time a very nice thing to say, and also a rather odd thing to say. I mean, humbug, indeed. Bah, humbug, as they say. Warning, barbed wire. I mean, in the sort of annals of the statement of the bleeding obvious, I mean, that's up there, isn't it? And here, you see this giant cafe sign here in letters 30 feet tall. Well, the person, or the lady I think it was, who had the idea for the Hollywood sign, the famous Hollywood sign in Hollywood that says, funnily enough, Hollywood, came from Margate. And it was she who suggested, because she'd seen this sign, obviously, this giant sign for partially sighted people, and she said, why don't we have a sign like that in Hollywood for partially sighted people? And everybody said, great idea, and they did it. And not only is it visible to partially sighted people, but it's completely visible to sighted people. And that's where they made all the movies. Well, some of them anyway, not all of them. Broadstairs. Now, unlike the rest of where I've been passing through, Margate and Westgate, Minnis Bay and Herne Bay and so forth, Broadstairs is pretty much packed. Not packed, but there's certainly a hell of a lot more people here than there were in the other places that I've passed through. There, that house on the hill on the right hand side, that's Bleak House. That's where Charles Dickens used to live. And I used to come here every year for about 10 years, maybe more, with my wife, my lovely wife, and my children, my daughter and my son. And we spent many fabulous holidays at a place you can see in front, Eagle House. We stayed there a couple of times and stayed in various other places that we rented. Spent many happy days on the beach and even occasionally in the sea, and walking to Ramsgate. I used to enjoy that a lot. And Ramsgate's further along the coast, but you can see it's a lovely day, it's a warm day here in Balamory, and there are people swimming in the sea. Not tombstoning, I haven't seen anybody tombstoning. That was yesterday's entertainment. These are swimmers. The sea is very calm, probably very warm. I don't intend to find out. Now we've reached the North Foreland private housing estate, which is very near Broadstairs. And I've come through here for a couple of reasons. One is because this is the route of the Viking coastal cycleway that leads to Broadstairs and Ramsgate and so forth. And the other reason is to tell you a story about the North Foreland estate. Now I want to preface it by saying that Not everything I say in my videos is true. This may come as a surprise to some people, but occasionally I make things up, partly because I find it amusing, and partly because I try and make the videos a little more interesting than just the usual cycle travelogue. And I'm not accusing any other YouTubers of making just the usual cycle travelogue. Anyway, the point of the story is, you may have heard of the novella subsequently made into a film called The 39 Steps. And the novella was written by John Buchan. Now, John Buchan, he either had a house on Northumberland or he used to stay with people who had a house on Northumberland. And there is a set of steps that leads down from the cliff edge to the sea, which I have previously found, although I haven't found them this time. I don't actually think there are 39 steps because I believe I counted them. Anyway, those steps formed the basis for his story. He changed the numbers to protect the innocent, and he called the story The 39 Steps. And that, dear viewers, is indisputably true. And if you want to Google it, please feel free. I also read quite a lot about it in a rather wonderful book called All the Devils Are Here, which you can find in all good bookshops or even on Amazon. Can't remember the author's name, but it's about Broadstairs, Ramsgate, Margate, Whitstable, and the various people who lived here and the various things they got up to. And it's a very interesting book, actually. I rather enjoy it, so I can recommend it to you. So, the Northumberland estate. And the other thing, of course, I wanted to tell you is that Cliff Promenade was the name of a boy at my school. He also, by the way, invented Cliff bars, which I'm quite partial to, particularly the peanut butter one. Yes, it's a Mr. Whippy, and it's dripping. And this is for Henry Wildbury and Miss Calls. And I've paused, nearly reached Ramsgate, and I've stopped at a famous cafe where, sorry, I just have to do some licking because it's melting. The first Mr. Whippy in the country was invented by Margaret Thatcher.
2 paninis and 4
Did you know that?
chips.
I didn't say that, by the way. That was the waitress. Probably thinking, Julian, I thought you were on a diet. What's with the ice cream? Well, fair point. But I mean, you know, I'm on holiday. 1, it's a hot day. 2, I've been cycling. 3, I fancy no ice cream. 4, and what business is it of yours? 5, if I want to be a fat bastard, which I'm not anymore, thanks for asking, although will be if I continue to eat Mr. Whippies. I managed to eat it just before it melted all over my nice Endura Pro SL Olive Gravel jersey. If you want to sponsor me, Endura, you know where to contact me. I'm really enjoying this trip. I've done a certain amount of, I mean, people kind of look at me weird. So he's holding some kind of weird camera with what looks like a mouthpiece, and he's talking into it. He's on his own. You know, you think people are mad. You can't say that now, but people walking on talking to themselves are mad. Now you just think they've got a mobile phone and a pair of, what is it, AirPods? You know, there's things that like earphones that you talk into. So that's 21. No, what are we in? 2021. Everybody's entitled to be mad. It's the times that we live in. But mad prime ministers, why not? It's like political reference there. Very attractive harbour, Ramsgate, and I quite fancy one of these boats. But then you think about it, you think, well, a camper van's probably more practical, and you probably use it more often. There's probably more space in a camper van, unless you've got a big boat, of course. That one's quite big. That one belongs to Roman Abramovich. That one there. Actually, no, that one doesn't. That one belongs to one of his children. It's a Diddy-sized boat. Roman Abramovich has a boat twice the size of this harbour, so it doesn't fit in here. I passed through Ramsgate and have reached Pegwell Bay, and here is a Viking longship. Now originally this was thought to be a replica of a Viking longship, but recent research and excavations by students at the University of Snodland have revealed that this is in fact the original and only Viking longship, and the Viking longships that people thought they used to get to this country were in fact replicas of this one, and this is the only true Viking longship still in existence. It's still seaworthy, still floats, although unfortunately there's no water here, and that's why it seems to be becalmed. That's the figurehead. That was a replica of the head of the fierce matriarch of the Vikings. A fearsome woman indeed. Interesting sign on this particular part of the National Cycle Network. It says Rome. So if you travel far enough in that direction, you're going to have to find a way to get across the sea, of course. You will reach Rome. M. Don't know what that means. M. M is the Roman numeral for M, apparently. Doesn't help much. Shall we move around and see what this is? Can you see what that says? I can't. Yes, I can. It says sandwich. The sign on the other side says panini, and the sign down there says baguette. Other forms of lunch are available. Sandwich brown or white? Crusty, non-crusty.
Now this bit, don't know if you can hear me, I'm on National Cycle Network 15, riding beside a very busy dual carriageway. So, yes, I'm off the road, but it is pretty damn busy and pretty damn noisy, and lots of cars and travelling past some waste recycling places, sewage dumps, luxury flats. So the combination of smells is pretty overwhelming. I'm making the best of it, as you can imagine, hoping to reach soon the turn off for Richborough. Can't come soon enough.
So Sandwich, and the bridge has opened or closed, whichever way you want to look at it, open to allow cars to cross, and me when I get back on the bike, and then I shall be heading for the Stour River Walk. At least I hope so, if I can find it. Sandwich, home of the panini, the baguette, the buttered roll, and also US Navy warship number 22, which has been stationed here, designed to protect Sandwich from invaders, and it's worked pretty successfully so far, except for the Vikings. Didn't stop the Vikings, but then nothing stopped the Vikings. Nothing stopped the Spanish Inquisition either. Monty Python joke there for you. Something new again, and I've
riding sort of on the top of a kind of embankment. Didn't stop in Sandwich for a sandwich. Funnily enough, I didn't see anywhere in Sandwich that sold sandwiches, which I thought was quite unusual. Nice village, quite twee, I suppose, quite cute, but nice. And now, at the side of me, I believe, is the River Stour. It might be the Thames or the Nile, or even the Amazon. Who knew Amazon did rivers? And I'm hoping to come across what is called the Stour Valley Walk. Oh, I've come to a fence. That's a bit irritating. Or gate, rather. I don't know what that means. And I have to investigate. Back soon.
O ye of little faith, the gate was open, so I shall continue on my merry way. You can see a sort of cutting running along there. That's the river Stour. I've done that joke, haven't I? So now I'm going to continue and hopefully find the byway, which is going to eventually take me back to Herne Bay after my many adventures which you have shared with me. At least I hope you've shared with me. I hope you stayed this long. I know it's been going on a bit, but you know, what else were you going to do? Watch the football? Hardly. Now this gate, can you see my face? This gate was locked. So you didn't see it happen, but Julian flung his bike over the gate here and then clambered over. Yes, his 65-year-old legs made it just over the gate without damaging the gate or his legs or any other part of his risky anatomy. And the fairlight flung over, funnily enough landed on its wheels, which was quite useful, I suppose, quite helpful. There's the fairlight. We've had a lot of views of the fairlight, haven't we? I think we're getting bored with it. Anyway, I hope we've found the right road and we shall continue on our merry way. Just behind me is the remains of Reculver Roman fort. Now there were three brothers, not two, Roman Polanski and Roman Abramovich, who we've already met. And then the third brother was Roman Fort. And he was a very keen archaeologist and built himself a Roman-inspired palace, inspired obviously after himself. And this was back in the hundreds of years ago, the late 70s, 80s, something like that. And unfortunately it didn't last. He built it on sand instead of on clay, and he built it out of polystyrene when he should have built it out of brick or granite or wood or whatever forts are normally built out of. And so it soon crumbled into dust, as we must all crumble, I suppose. All of our Roman forts shall lie in ruins. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. If you would seek my works, you mighty look around you. And there it is. Feast your eyes, look around you. Pre-booked visits only, and I haven't pre-booked because I wasn't intending to come here, so I didn't pre-book. But I mean, what is there to see? I mean, it's a bit of stone, a bit of polystyrene, a bit of technical fabric, all the stuff you need to build a building that'll last for 1,000 years. Well, 27, as it turned out. Didn't use very good mortar. You had enough? Don't blame you. If you're following the National Cycle Network, which I am, trying to follow Route 1, you really do need your wits about you. Because I don't know if you can see, but here we're at a junction, and there is the National Cycle Network sign pretty much hidden by the ivy around here. That left-hand fork goes to where, the right-hand fork goes to where, who the fuck knows where. And on the right-hand fork it goes to Westmarsh. And the National Cycle Network is pointing to go to the right, in other words, to follow the road to Westmarsh. But you do need to keep your wits about you, because it's very easy to miss some of these signs. Bit of advice there for the National Cycle Network people. Well, this is nice, isn't it? This is Grove Ferry, and I've rocked up here. Just stopped at a shop in Preston because I hadn't had any real lunch. And you'll want to know what I had. I had a bag of crisps. I had 2 smooth peanut butter Snickers bars. I had a Diet Coke. Got 2 bottles of Lucozade, which I put into my water bottle. They didn't have any water. The two intrepid canoeists heading upriver to find the source of the river. Let's hope they're safe. Anyway, you want to know what else I had? I got a bag of nuts, which I haven't eaten, and 2 kind of shortcake fudgy type bars, which I've put in my pocket and may eat later. So, having told you about my kind of lunch options, you can feast your eyes on this beautiful river view at Grove Ferry. Isn't that nice? Look at that boat there. It's like a miniature tugboat for a miniature steamboat captain. Isn't that nice? There's a close-up of that miniature tugboat, which I really like, I must say. And you can see the reflection in the water. The reflection is the same size as the tugboat. That's strange, isn't it? Well, I'm back at the Premier Inn, or Bivvy Camp, as we call it, base camp, I call it, in front of some kind of generator, not sure what. And you want to know the numbers. .8 miles, average 9.8, moving time 5 hours 3 minutes and 21 seconds, 1,433 feet of elevation. And I've got to say, that is 2 of the most enjoyable days I've ever spent on the bike. And I'll probably do a little summation of everything about the ride, or the 2-day ride. But for the moment, I'm going to change my stuff, put my bike away, drive home, see the wife, have a bath, etc, etc. So, catch you in a bit. So I'm back home, and a quick coda about my bike packing trip. Absolutely loved it, absolutely brilliant, every minute of it. Okay, it wasn't what Badger and many of you others would call wild camping, Juliet Elliott. I wasn't doing any wild swimming, I wasn't bivvying, anything like that. I stayed in a Premier Inn, but it was brilliant. So costs, well, 1 night in the Premier Inn, plus breakfast. I forget how much it was. It's midweek, so it's not so expensive. It was obviously more at the weekend. Dinner was 40 quid, including tip, only I didn't leave a tip. Waiter said to me when I paid the bill, "Are you going to leave me a tip?" I said, "Yeah, don't eat yellow snow." Well, I thought it was funny. He wasn't very impressed. Followed quite a lot of the National Cycle Network. One thing I would say is if you haven't got a GPX file on your bike computer, and I didn't, it's really pretty important that you've got a map, either a paper copy of an Ordnance Survey map, or you can get them all on your phone, accessible offline, or whether you've got a signal, of course, quite important. But the way markers, the route marks, they're generally fairly easy to follow, but as I pointed out in the video, a couple of the times they're a little bit difficult, so I stopped on a number of occasions to look at the map. Now, I've never really used the National Cycle Network. I've been a kind of roadie cyclist. I ride on the road, I've got my head down, I'm looking at my power numbers, I'm looking at Strava segments, I'm watching out for BMWs and Range Rovers. So I don't ride off-road, I don't ride on gravel, I don't ride on cycle tracks. But I'm going to do a lot more of it. They are really quiet, there are some really wonderful routes. I thought Kent, National Cycle Network in Kent was absolutely brilliant. So if you're thinking of going, I can highly recommend that area. I was really lucky with the weather. Today was a very hot day, probably the hottest day of the year. But there was a bit of a breeze off the sea or inland, and I was pretty cool. Nearly ran out of liquid on a couple of occasions. When I stopped at the shop, they didn't have any water, but I bought 2 bottles of Lucozade and a Diet Coke, so what else do you need? So that's the end of my first bikepacking trip. And am I going to be doing some others? Definitely. I'm sorry if this video works out quite long, but you know what they say, all my videos raise money for the Vine Food Bank, which is in Croydon in the United Kingdom. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Please share. It all helps to raise more money for the food bank. So hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to making many more for you soon. God, I'm getting a little bit tired and I think I need a bath. So thanks for watching and see you next time.